Hasan, how you been, by the way? How's your week been? What's going on with you?
I'm pretty good, you know, just working hard. Finally moved into the new house, the $7 gazillion house. Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm glad you're in there enjoying the fruits of your labor there.
Yeah. It's been good so far, you know, just trying to set up a studio and whatnot, and have more guests on and things like that. It's not as good as this studio. Obviously, this is like the most expensive studio in the country.
Yeah, this is like the GDP of the whole state.
Right? We're keeping the Los Angeles economy afloat here.
Yeah, basically
single-handedly.
You're building a studio in your new place?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
nice,
not like a studio, but just basically it's a larger room. I have a conference table. I'm gonna be able to have like guests on, and then have better conversations. Because currently, whenever they come, they just like sit next to me, and it's like awkward.
The Adam Ross thing.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just I have my bed behind me.
There's better ways to do it.
Yeah.
A window covered with like a bed sheet.
I think he has like, doesn't he have like a green screen or something as like he doesn't even have like a regular
green screen. He better, because his background is like his unmade bed and a window covered with the bed sheet. That's
what I'm saying. And he doesn't even have like regular a regular curtain. He just has like a green screen curtain.
It's so ghetto.
It's just so bad. Yeah.
So, God, you've been in so many controversies lately, dude.
I know.
Another one about the brothel.
Oh my God, that was insane. Yeah, that was absolutely psychotic. Where I have a friend who's a stripper, and she DMs me out of the blue and is like, "Oh my God, someone just walked into the strip club while I'm working in your chicken tendy merch." Right?
Here, I have a video. Let's show it.
You want to show the video? Okay.
Oh, I can't show the video. Well, here, I can show the video.
You can show the video.
There's some ass, but I don't know. Maybe we can blur it, Dan.
There's a little bit of butt there.
It's just a little ass.
We'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah, this is mad Sigma energy. That's pretty fun.
He's just loving life.
I mean, that's a fucking great video right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened?
So I was like, oh my God, can I post about this? And I was like, ask the other stripper there and also the fan if I can post about this. And she was like, I asked. Fuck yeah, like go forward. He's like really stoked. He's like actually at him too, and I was like, no, he doesn't want that smoke, because I knew that like people would be like, people get like kind of mad, but I didn't know how mad people would get.
You're right.
So basically, I consented. My friend consented, but there's a lot of swerfs on Twitter who did not consent. They were like, no, fuck that, dude. How dare you?
So wait, what was the anger about? I don't understand.
There are a lot of people on the internet that have really unique perspectives that are really polarizing, I guess, or they get like really passionate about like particular things. And there's a lot of people who just hate sex work. Like they think that all sex work is inherently like abusive. It's all coercive, and that like they'll adopt the aesthetics of someone who actually cares about the well-being of sex workers. But they're not. They're the legislation that they advocate for and the things that they say routinely dehumanize sex workers.
This is the leftist take?
There are leftists who have these opinions too. Yeah, of course.
That's weird, because obviously the anti-sex work take is usually a conservative take of like it's immoral.
Yeah,
but I know there's a lot of women that make a great living from that, and you can do it in a safe environment.
Yeah,
and make a great living. So,
and every time like the government takes action because they want to combat. The government always says they want to combat sex trafficking, right? And sex trafficking is horrifying. It's a it's awful horrible thing. It's a monstrous thing.
One of the worst things.
Yeah. Except every time they say they want to combat sex trafficking, like Sesta Fosta, for example, they end up literally taking away resources from sex workers that use certain resources like back pages and whatnot to safely be able to do sex work. So this is a major issue. That's why sex workers like routinely fight back against this sort of stuff, but they're so marginalized and their voices are never heard.
Wait, I'm
really
confused. So they pass a bill.
They'll pass a bill to say we are going to shut down, for example, like websites that facilitate in like sex work. If you're like Backpages.
Oh, you mean like a website that's like you can find an escort online?
Yeah, Backpages, like for example. And it's like, well, there's like certain websites where sex workers are able to.
So what's their theory about why they want to shut down the website?
Because they're saying it's all sex trafficking.
It's just there's no evidence. It's just sex trafficking. Boom.
I mean, sex trafficking does happen 100%, but that's like illegal separately. You know what I mean?
But it seems like a website where you just find an escort would be a good place to potentially sex traffic.
Well, that's precisely why you got to decriminalize it, so that the website can still operate, so that sex workers can still communicate with one another about like abusive clients and whatnot, right? Because this is like a huge issue. And
I mean, that the ideal situation would be something like in Nevada, where it's like people can run a safe like place where sex workers can work out of, and then like the facility ensures their health and that the patrons aren't freaks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the advocacy here in America, especially revolves around decriminalization, not legalization, full blown. Because I think like a lot of people are worried about like the corporate exploitation element. If it's like full blown legalized, then it's like,
that'd be,
you know what I mean?
That's crazy to think.
Because then you have like actual exploitation, like hyper exploitation. So
Coca-Cola gets into the
exactly
into the escort game.
Wow.
But I mean, the thing is like people were just like super mad. There's obviously, I have a lot of haters who watch, and I talk for 12 hours every day. So you're going to find something in my archives that you can like use against me.
Sure.
And I talk routinely about sex work rights and sex workers in general. And I have them on my show and whatnot too. So one of those instances I talked about like all the way back in 2010, I think. I went to a brothel called Artemis in Berlin.
I have this video too. I'm going to pull it up. So this is when people got really mad, right?
So they were like, this piece of shit, fucking, you know, he's blowing his millions. Dog, I was in 2010, okay? That was fucking, you know.
I'm going to play the video so people understand. But I guess this was the reason people got really mad. So this is a clip.
Escort, no shame. Obviously, sex work is real work. I've had sex with not even escorts, but also like straight. I've gone to a brothel, Artemis in Berlin, and had sex with the workers there. Yes.
Oh.
I don't hide it. I don't give a shit. Why would I?
Yeah, so you saying that you solicited sex.
Yeah. And they're like, this is shameful.
I'm so surprised by that, because I thought a big talking point of on the left was like sex work is real work and all that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, there's a lot of different opinions there. I mean, the left has never agreed on anything ever. So it's famous.
I guess there's like an even further left that I'm not super aware of that kind of surprised me sometimes when I hear about it, because I thought there was this universal appreciation and need. Like, you understand sex work is just a necessity of society. It will never go away. It will always be here. The best thing to do is to give them the best conditions possible that's safe and enables them to work and make a living and do it on their terms, which is safe for everybody.
Exactly.
That's like that's the best and most humane thing to do.
And that's what sex workers want.
Yeah,
like that's, if you talk to active sex workers, like that's what they want. But there are a lot of people like this that will oftentimes always like bring up one or two ex-sex workers, and there are plenty of ex-sex workers who are anti-sex work and like talk about the abuse in the industry, and there is a lot of abuse in that industry, partially or not even partially, like almost directly a consequence of how in the margins that that entire industry is, how it's like a shameful thing that we need to like push to the side. So that allows really horrifying things to happen, right? So instead of decriminalizing and like having an honest conversation about this, we like kind of push it, we brush it aside, and then allow that rampant abuse to continue. So my argument is like, I'm very open about it, but they were upset. They said that this was like unacceptable.
Why?
That guy Alex is like, he's like a fucking investigative journalist who I followed for like a long time too. He's like
the guy who tweeted it out.
Yeah, and
like he didn't. Oh, this is how he blows his
shows a lot about his fucking investigative reporting, because
he says here that turns out the brothel went to so he could have sex with quote workers was rated in 2016.
Yeah, they're not workers. They're not workers.
So by the way,
they're all slaves. Like that's what he makes it seem like. So he clips this article, right? And I didn't. First of all, it's in 2016. I don't fucking know what's going on in a brothel. You know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to know what could have happened in the future, because he's saying that this is indicative of all brothels. All brothels are like this, and it's hyper specific to the sex work industry, and it's not like, it's different than the Purdue Chicken Factory that's like hiring undocumented immigrants, because it's not. The entire argument reduces to sex work is not real work. It's like just abusive and exploitative and horrifying, and it's all sex trafficked people that are exploited and coerced, right? That's the way that this guy operates. That's the way he thinks is going on, and there's plenty of examples that you can point to prove that point, right? So he posts this article as though like I'm morally culpable in this situation, but then I looked a little bit deeper into it. I was like, that's kind of fucked up. I mean, not kind of fucked up. It was super fucked up. What is it? First of all, it was for fucking tax evasion.
Yeah,
okay?
I saw that.
And secondly, there was accusations that like there might be sex trafficking going on, but all of the people that were pointed to in that situation, they were released. And I believe the brothel is now suing the city of Berlin for damages too. On top of that,
I actually have an excerpt here. It says the Berlin authorities raided Artemis in a human trafficking investigation. Some people on let's see here. Basically, what they do is, I guess the authorities do routine investigations. They drop in to see if there's any like human trafficking there. They didn't find any human trafficking there.
Yeah, but he's
actually
implying that there was.
Right, because what they actually did arrest people for, as you said, was tax fraud and withholding Social Security contributions. So there was no arrests about human trafficking, in fact, and it's routine. And anyway, it was the people arrested were related to tax fraud.
Yeah, I mean the fucking brothel is still in operation.
Yeah,
it's not like. You know what I mean?
Total bullshit. I mean, what the fuck? Why would he do that?
Well, because he has an agenda. A lot of people on the internet have their own particular agenda.
But why the left eating their own like this? I just don't understand the dude.
Well, I mean, I think that he just... Well, it helps. It helps his brand.
Investigative reporting into
Philip
what, bro?
DeFranco covered it. It was his name gets mentioned with Philip DeFranco. His name gets mentioned here.
But if he cares, why is he eating his fucking his own people? I just don't understand.
I don't think he sees it like that. He cares more about like his swerf POV than anything else. Like, and it was obvious.
Here he is.
That was the case.
Here's a real shot of him drafting his tweet by hand about you participating in human trafficking.
And for those of you who don't know, SWERF means sex work exclusionary radical feminist. It's the same as you might have heard TERF.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Trans exclusionary radical feminist. These are like, terms
I don't get that. I just don't get it. It's like I'm sorry, but sex work is just a natural fact of life. So I mean, what are you going to do about it?
Like, so people want to do that. Like people enjoy that. Like,
they will,
and it's incredibly popular. Like a lot of people consume porn, for example. I think it's like just incredibly hypocritical of me to, consume porn and then not like advocate for the interests of the people that make it. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Like, why the fuck would you not do that? Like, it's no different than how like conservatives would be like, yeah, run football, man, run. And then like the moment that they kneel for the national anthem, all of a sudden, wait a minute, that's a real human being with real problems. In a lot of instances, they're black and, have a higher likelihood of being victim to police brutality, and they want to talk about it. Then you remember like, oh, this is not just an entertainer that's like dancing and running for, my desires, but instead a real human being with like real issues. And then they get very upset. And it's kind of like that. A lot of people want to consume porn. A lot of people want to, reap the benefits of sex work. But then they don't actually want to, when it comes down to like giving liberties and rights to those who are making this content or those who are engaging in the act of sex work, then they're like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah, all these, I'm shocked that there's people on the left that are like anti sex work. That's just weird to me.
It's legal in Germany too.
Yeah, I know. There's like a whole red light district. It's crazy there. Yeah. From an American perspective, it just seems like hard to even imagine. There's like a whole district in Germany where you walk into it and they have like open street brothels, women literally behind glass. You can walk through the brothels. There's women trying to get you to come.
My goodness me.
Shatner loves that. Trying to get people to come into their room, and it's just like, whoa. I went there when I was like 18. I didn't sleep with anyone. It was just I was a baby. I was a virgin. I was like just scared. I was just walking through there like, what the fuck? You know,
Yeah.
crazy.
And people look at that and go, well, that's fucked up. Like you're objectifying yourself for the male gaze or the male desire. And there's this like weird understanding or meme on the internet that like all sex work is exclusively created by like exploited and abused women for the interests of just like cisgender, heterosexual white dudes.
There's a
and that's not the fucking case.
There's a way better argument that it's an empowering. They're owning their sexuality and making a great living, especially if they're doing it in a safe way.
Exactly.
Yeah, Hamburg's red light district. That's where we.
Well, you know, it's hard to shake off that conditioning. If you like grew up in the Western world that has like really puritanical points of view, especially in America against like sex in general, then it's really hard to like reprogram yourself to be like, wait, maybe this isn't all that bad. Maybe this isn't that crazy. So, you know, that's why I advocate for the safety and betterment of sex work. And I said it in the Vice article too, like all work under capitalism is exploitative. It's done under coercive conditions. If you're singling out sex work, then you have more so a problem with sex and not necessarily the work itself.